As usual, I prepared dinner first and then went to pick up my twin daughters from their evening classes. Before I even opened the door, I could hear the lively laughter inside. Entering the house, I found George, Martha, Sarah, and her family of four all present. The table was covered with leftovers, and the air was thick with the smell of alcohol and smoke.
Is today a special occasion? Why are Dad, Mom, and Sarah all here?
Of course, it's a great day. John has struck it rich.
I was taken aback and looked at my husband.
John, did you win the lottery?
You guessed it. John won 500 million.
I was momentarily stunned.
Wow, does that mean we're rich kids now?
Humph. Daughters are just a burden. Our money is meant for grandsons. You, who can't even give birth to a son, are not fit to be part of this family. You should get a divorce first thing in the morning.
I looked at my husband in panic.
John.
Let's get divorced. I'll leave the house to you.
Tears welled up in my eyes, and my heart ached with sorrow. John and I had known each other since we were kids. He was always the athletic one, while I dreaded long-distance running. From elementary school to high school, he would always run alongside me during exams, cheering me on. I thought he would be by my side forever. After graduating from college, I gave up a high-paying job in the city to be with him in our hometown. After we got married, he promised to take care of me. I thought taking care of me meant I could enjoy a leisurely life, but it turned out he meant I would cook, clean, do laundry, have children, and obey his parents. 2 years ago, I had heart surgery and couldn't have more children. Since then, I had become more like a free housekeeper, often facing disdain from him and his family.
I want the children.
You don't have a job, and your family is poor. How will you support them?
They wouldn't be foolish enough to give up a wealthy life to pick up trash with you, would they?
We want to stay with Mom.
I hugged them tightly, feeling comforted. In this cold household, they had always been my greatest source of strength.
I told you, they're as foolish as their mother. They're just a burden anyway. If they want to leave, let them. More money for my grandsons.
Here's the divorce agreement. Sign it now, and the house is yours.
I held the agreement, unmoving for a long time.
15 years of marriage, and John has supported you for 15 years. You've done nothing, and now you get a house for free. Don't be ungrateful.
I looked at them. Since marrying into their family, I had done all the cooking, cleaning, and household chores. I had carried and given birth to children, helped them with their studies, and taken care of the elderly and sick. When the children grew older, I took on part-time jobs, yet still managed all the housework. In their eyes, how had I become useless? No wonder people say, those who wash dishes every day, if they skip once, they're called lazy, while those who rarely wash, are praised to the skies. And there's a saying, when a considerate person stops cooperating, they're seen as heartless, but when a willful person behaves slightly, they're endlessly praised. That's how I've lived for over a decade. With a bitter heart, I opened the agreement and read it carefully. The house, less than 80 square meters, was our marital home, bought with contributions from both families. It cost 39,000 yuan back then and could sell for at most 90,000 now. For the John family to give me the house was already their greatest concession. I didn't expect more. I noticed something missing in the agreement.
There's nothing written about the child support amount per month.
You wanted the kids yourself, and now you have the nerve to ask for child support?
I knew it. You want the kids just to extort my brother. Dream on.
I took a deep breath.
If there's no child support, then don't expect them to support you in the future.
We have 5 billion. Only a fool would expect support from you.
Alright, let's add that to the agreement.
Add it.
It says here that we can't borrow money from you for any reason. Then you can't borrow money from us for any reason either.
You're insane. We're wealthy and would never borrow money from a pauper like you.
Add that to the agreement too. No financial dealings between us in the future.
Add it.
I looked at this cold-hearted family.
Transfer the house ownership first, then we'll proceed with the divorce.
This agreement needs to be notarized. Who knows if she'll go back on her word and try to blackmail us later?
Yes, we'll get it notarized tomorrow morning, transfer the ownership in the afternoon, and finalize the divorce the day after. It's a good day for it.
You even need to pick a good day for a divorce?
Humph.
The notarization and transfer procedures went smoothly. On the third day, John came early to take me to the Civil Affairs Bureau for the divorce, more eager than when we got married. A mocking voice sounded nearby.
Well, it's been a few months, and I almost didn't recognize this old lady.
I looked up to see John holding a sexy, flirtatious woman close, his face full of smug satisfaction. Beside them stood a pair of twin boys, about 11 or 12 years old.
John, congratulations on finally having sons to take care of you in your old age, and two at that.
You knew?
She made sure to tell me. Of course, I knew. I just didn't believe it at the time.
Stupid woman, I told you, your man, your house, everything would be mine, and now it's true.
Congratulations on successfully becoming the mistress, but there might be many men outside who are heartbroken because of it.
I had long known that this woman, relying on her looks and boldness, behaved recklessly. Besides John, she had several other lovers. Looking at her long manicured nails, heavy makeup, and waist-length curly hair, it was clear she never did housework. She and the Sue family were a perfect match, and their life together would be quite exciting. After finalizing the divorce, I went to the market and bought steak, crabs, lobsters, and turbot. I also bought some fruit before heading home. Last night, the Sue family had eaten all the food, and Sophia and Isabella hadn't eaten well. Today, I wanted to treat them properly. I prepared the food and cut the fruit just as Sophia and Isabella returned, bringing me a bouquet of my favorite white lilies.
Mom, congratulations on your new beginning.
Tears welled up in my eyes, truly feeling reborn. I hugged them tightly.
Mom will make sure we live well.
For the first time, the three of us enjoyed a joyful meal at home. We used to save the best food for John. From today, he was nothing to us. The next day, I went to my parents' house to tell them about the divorce in person. James and Mary worked at the largest farm in our county, toiling for most of their lives. 3 years ago, my mother fell seriously ill, and we spent all our money on her treatment, even borrowing from the Sue family, which made them look down on us. When I arrived at the farm, I heard that the owner had abandoned the 100-acre pond and fled with the money, leaving hundreds of workers unpaid for 3 months. I decided to take over the farm. Narrator, tone, sad. As I sat down with a heavy heart, I opened the agreement and began to read its contents carefully. The house, our marital home, was less than 80 square meters. It had been purchased with contributions from both. Just as we sat down to order, we heard the sound of an argument from the next room. In high spirits, Sophia, Isabella, and I ordered a few extra dishes and enjoyed our meal.
This place has the best food in town.
Absolutely. Let's try the special today.
I studied accounting and even passed the intermediate accountant exam while staying at home. After taking over the farm, I reviewed all the accounts and discovered that the business was actually doing well. The previous owner, however, had a gambling issue and squandered all the earnings at the casino.
We need to pay off the wages owed by the previous owner, including interest.
I managed to recall most of the lost employees and gave bonuses to the loyal ones who stayed. We gathered all department heads to reorganize the workflow and policies. The farm quickly returned to normal operations.
Let's visit all the old clients and win them back with our sincerity.
We broke even in the first month of normal operations. In the fall, I led the team to 4 agricultural product fairs and secured 3 new major clients. By the end of the year, business was booming and demand exceeded supply.
We should consider acquiring from a few small farms for long-term supply.
We carefully selected small farms for long-term product acquisition and developed several long-term suppliers by the beginning of the next year. Business was thriving, and we became one of the county's top taxpayers and a model enterprise.
Tax compliance is critical. It's okay to earn a little less, but taxes must be paid in full.
Deputy County Chief David often brought visiting groups to our farm, helping me accumulate many potential clients. At the beginning of the year, the county awarded me the Outstanding Entrepreneur Award and a $50,000 prize, boosting my confidence. One day, David brought another group for a visit, and to my surprise, Jessica was among them, holding hands with a man in the center.
A woman who can't even manage her husband, how can she manage such a big farm? Isn't it because Deputy Chief David is helping an old classmate by promoting it?
I didn't want to engage with her, but I couldn't let David lose face. Seeing is believing. Please, everyone, follow me to the exhibition hall.
It's all a sham. What's there to see?
Mr. Robert, if you're not here to visit, we can leave now.
Deputy Chief David, you must be joking.
I led them to the newly built exhibition hall. The 300-square-meter hall featured 496 80-inch screens, providing real-time monitoring of 124 ponds. Data on air temperature, water temperature, and humidity were constantly updated.
Impressive.
This setup was inspired by a visit David arranged to an advanced farm in the provincial capital. He also helped significantly with recruiting the technicians and live broadcasters. This wasn't just for show. The monitoring system was for precision farming, reducing losses, and increasing yield. I created the 4-leaf lotus brand, which needed promotion, and live broadcasting was a modern marketing trend to increase brand awareness. Of course, the initial investment was substantial. The visiting group was full of admiration, while Jessica looked at me with jealousy. I couldn't understand why she, already married to John, was openly holding hands with another man in such an intimate manner. Had John turned into a green-eyed ninja turtle after getting rich? Early the next morning, John arrived in a high-end luxury car worth millions. His sharp suit, bow tie, and polished shoes made him look like a big shot from an old Hong Kong movie. It was almost laughable.
I heard your farm is doing well and making good money?
I reflexively replied, fearing he might ask for money.
I'm still paying off loans.
How much do you owe? I'll pay it off for you. From now on, I'll take care of you.
Thanks, but no thanks. We're divorced, it's better not to have any more entanglements.
I now have a mansion worth 100 million, a luxury car worth 50 million, and a gold mine. I can really take care of you.
I can support myself and the kids. Where did you get a gold mine?
I have connections. I bought the gold mine in a neighboring county for just 300 million.
I suddenly understood why Jessica and Robert were here. The mine is in Robert's county. Jessica had become John's PR manager.
Isn't that gold mine almost depleted?
The old mine is exhausted, but a new one is about to start. In less than 3 years, I'll be the richest man in the country.
Years ago, the original owner of that gold mine was indeed the richest man in the country. But after the mine was depleted, he switched industries.
Congratulations in advance. Mining requires a lot of money. Take care of yourself. I'll repay my loan myself.
A friend lent me 1.5 billion. I have plenty of money.
You actually took out a high-interest loan?
I stepped back, not wanting to inhale secondhand smoke or be too close to him.
You're so ignorant. You need money to do big things. Besides, with a gold mine, why would I worry about repaying it?
I looked at him speechlessly. I knew he would squander the money, but I didn't expect him to do it so quickly and even end up owing high-interest loans. After sending John away, I felt a headache coming on. If something goes wrong, his family will definitely come to me for money. Even after the divorce, I can't shake them off, which makes me feel powerless. Feeling frustrated, I drove to a bar to drink. I always exercised self-control, wanting to be a good daughter, student, daughter-in-law, wife, and mother. This was the first time I wanted to let loose. Usually, one beer would knock me out, but I ordered a bottle of red wine. It tasted bitter and unpleasant. After one glass, I felt timid and wanted to go home. But then I thought about the 388 yuan I spent on the bottle. I had to finish it. After throwing up twice, I finally finished it, my head aching, my stomach hurting, and my limbs out of control. Stumbling out, I bumped into someone, and we both fell.
Ah.
The other person let out an earth-shattering scream that could have lifted the roof, snapping me back to reality. Her wig had fallen off, revealing a large bald spot. The beauty instantly turned into an ugly witch.
You wretched woman, how dare you bump into me? I'll kill you.
She grabbed my hand and slapped me across the face.
I was hit so hard that my head buzzed, and the lingering effects of alcohol made my long-suppressed grievances suddenly erupt. I retaliated with a fierce slap. Neither of us backed down, and we ended up grappling with each other. Half an hour later, at the police station, I had sobered up enough to recognize the other person as Jessica. At this moment, Jessica was heavily made up, wearing a low-cut, backless mini dress that barely covered her curves. I couldn't help but wonder, following John, a billionaire, why did she still look like she was earning money at a bar? But drinking and fighting are not honorable things, and I didn't want to publicize it, so I thought about reconciling with Jessica.
Jessica, we both made mistakes, and you hit me first. I'll give you $1,000 for medical expenses, and let's call it even.
You think you can walk out of here with just $1,000? No way.
I deeply regretted my impulsiveness tonight, but I had to deal with my own mistakes.
How about $6,000 for medical expenses?
You embarrassed me, and I want you to go to jail.
You hit me first, and I got hurt too. If we're going to jail, we'll go together. Anyway, if you're not afraid of losing face, why should I be?
Jessica adjusted her short skirt that barely covered her thighs and showed a hint of compromise.
If you really want to reconcile, then give me $20,000 in compensation.
That's robbery! We won't reconcile! Please handle this according to the law!
Jessica was about to curse when John hurriedly arrived. Before I could react, Jessica rushed over, clinging to John, wrapping her arms around his neck, and cooing.
Honey, you finally came to get me.
I got goosebumps and barely resisted the urge to roll my eyes. John affectionately held Jessica, glanced at me, and then nodded and bowed to the police officer.
We're all family, just a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding.
I silently looked at John. I used to get scolded for wearing skirts that didn't cover my knees, and now he tolerated Jessica like this? Where did John's authoritarian attitude go? Had it all gone to the dogs? Jessica, however, listened to John and agreed to reconcile. Soon, we were out of the police station.
Jessica is just playful. Don't badmouth her everywhere.
John hugged Jessica and got into his $1 million car, speeding away. I sighed deeply. What's the use of being a good wife and mother? It's better to act coquettishly like others. Standing alone in the dark night, it's easy to feel down. But the next day, when the sun rose as usual, and I saw James and Mary busy with the workers at the farm, all my gloom disappeared. How others live is their business. Our own happy life depends on rolling up our sleeves and working hard. Busy and fulfilling work, with increasingly good performance, filled me with confidence again, slowly forgetting the troubles John brought me. I was sipping a strong tea. Hearing this, I spat it out, spraying John with tea. In disbelief, I asked,
"Didn't you say you borrowed $150 million and spent it all in a few months?"
How could that amount be enough? I'm doing big things.
What exactly are you doing? Do you even know what you're doing?
Of course I know what I'm doing. I hired professional marketing experts to plan for my gold mine, and the startup capital alone is $200 million. Anyway, you wouldn't understand. Just lend me the money.
I only have 6,000 yuan in my account. Do you want it?
You have such a big farm, how could you only have 6,000? Are you afraid I won't pay you back? Don't worry, I'll repay you double in the future.
I have no money, all the money went to paying off loans. Besides, our divorce agreement clearly states that we owe each other nothing and will not lend each other money. Now leave.
This man, with his childish antics, made me want to hit him every minute.
We were married for so long, and you can't even help with this small favor? If you don't lend me the money, I won't leave.
My hands trembled with anger, and I couldn't help but splash the tea in his face.
John, get out!
John wiped his face and threatened.
You wretched woman, how dare you splash me? I'll teach you a lesson.
He reached out to hit me. At that moment, James rushed in from outside, trying to pull John away from me.
John, what are you doing to our daughter?
Smack. John grabbed the teacup from my hand and smashed it on my father's head. Thud. The next second, my father fell to the ground like a kite with a broken string.
Dad!
I screamed and rushed over. Amidst the chaos, I managed to get my father into an ambulance while John fled. Fortunately, my father wasn't seriously injured and would recover in a month. After leaving the hospital the next morning, I went straight to the police station to report the incident. The office had surveillance cameras, so John had no choice but to admit his wrongdoing. In front of the police, he wrote a promise never to harass me again and paid 50,000 yuan for medical expenses and compensation. I wanted to teach him a lesson, to show him that I wasn't someone to be bullied. As I left the police station, I was surrounded by John's family.
You wretched woman, how dare you harm my son? I'll kill you.
Humph, my brother left you and now you're taking revenge on him, aren't you?
Jessica, spewing vulgarities, came at me in high heels, ready to kick me. I backed away in panic.
Stop.
A loud voice startled them. I looked up and saw David. He arrived with the police, separating them from me.
The higher-ups are coming to inspect the county tomorrow and specifically want to visit your farm. Get ready.
Why would they want to visit this wretched woman's farm? Are you two having an affair?
In a lawful society, slandering a leader comes with consequences.
Humph, you wretched woman. What's there to be proud of? I'll make sure all your fish and shrimp die, and you'll be humiliated.
Officer, if anything happens to my farm, they are the prime suspects.
Nonsense. I'll kill you.
Take them in for a good lesson.
David needed to go to the farm for a preliminary inspection, so I hitched a ride with him.
David, I'm really worried they might target the farm. Do you have any ideas?
David pondered for a moment before speaking.
Tomorrow, I'll be accompanied by leaders from the Department of Agriculture. One of them happens to be a classmate of mine. If the leaders are satisfied with the farm, we can try to get a state-owned enterprise to invest.
Would having a state-owned enterprise invest help me?
Absolutely. Once the farm has investment from a state-owned enterprise, it becomes state property. Not even you, as the owner, can make unilateral decisions, and others certainly can't infringe upon it.
Great, then I'll count on your old classmates' help.
No need to be so formal. If the county can have a leading enterprise that boosts the local industry, I'll be very happy too. But you need to think it through. Are you really willing to give up some shares? Will you regret it?
As long as the farm develops well, I'm willing to do anything.
With David's guidance, the leaders' inspection went smoothly, and they gave high praise to both the farm and me. The county TV station and other media outlets reported on it and invited me for interviews. These were free advertising opportunities, and I gladly accepted them. Meanwhile, David helped me finalize the investment from the state-owned enterprise. According to the current balance sheet, we transferred 30% of the shares at par value. If it were private capital, I could have asked for 3 times the price, so the other party was very satisfied. On the day of the signing, we held a grand press conference, which made the news and became the headline of the business section. Suddenly, I became a local celebrity. That day, the TV station came to the farm for an interview.
Welcome! Let me show you around the exhibition hall.
Just then, my father came running over in a panic.
Sophia and Isabella have been taken by John.
What happened?
Look, look!
He handed me his phone.
John sent a message saying that if you don't give him $500 million, he'll take Sophia and Isabella and jump.
I quickly pulled out my phone and dialed John's number.
Even a tiger doesn't eat its cubs, John. You're worse than a beast.
John had been asking me for money every day, but I refused. He even tried to threaten me by sabotaging the farm, but I discovered it in time and called the police. I knew he would become desperate, but I never thought he would target Sophia and Isabella.
Ha, if you're heartless, don't blame me for being ruthless. If I can't live well, neither can you.
John, your current wife isn't me. If you're out of money, you should ask your beloved Jessica for help. Isn't she very capable? Let Sophia and Isabella go.
She ran away with her twin sons. You're all bad women, shameless little brats.
She ran away with her kids, so you only have Sophia and Isabella. You shouldn't hurt them.
Give me $500 million, and I can turn my life around. Once I get the money, I'll let them go.
Okay, I'll find a way to get the money. Just don't hurt Sophia and Isabella.
Don't try any tricks, or you'll be collecting their bodies.
All right, I won't.
I hung up the phone, only then realizing that the TV crew was still recording. With a bitter heart, I opened the agreement and read it carefully. The house, less than 80 square meters, was our marital home, bought with contributions from both families. That day was nerve-wracking. In the evening, James and Mary prepared a table full of delicious dishes to help us calm down. A table of food, a family, chatting casually and happily, harmonious, peaceful, and beautiful.
Suddenly, a few workers rushed in, panicked.
Boss, quickly watch the Family Matters show.
Family Matters was a popular county TV show that mediated various family disputes. We turned on the TV and saw Emily's family passionately condemning me, calling me ungrateful, materialistic, and heartless. Their tearful performance surely deceived many viewers. I immediately contacted the TV station personnel I had dealt with before and held a press conference overnight. The press conference was broadcast live on both the county and provincial TV platforms.
The agreement clearly states the reason for the divorce. I couldn't give Emily's family a son.
As soon as I said this, the comments were full of criticism towards Emily's family for their preference for boys over girls.
It is written in black and white that John won $5 billion in the lottery, and I cannot borrow money from him for any reason, nor can he borrow money from me.
The comments became even more intense, condemning John for abandoning his wife after becoming wealthy.
At the time of the divorce, I took the house and our 2 children. The house was bought with contributions from both families. As for the children, Emily's family did not pay a penny in child support.
The comments continued to ferment, criticizing John for not even supporting his children.
So, although we were married for 16 years, at the time of the divorce, our paths had already diverged.
The comments were overwhelmingly in my favor.
Originally, he was my children's father. If he were truly in need, I would help if I could. But when John was being chased by creditors, he took our 2 children.
I asked the TV station to play the footage from that day. The comments exploded again, condemning John.
Not only did he take the children, but he also put them in danger. So now, I officially declare, I have no relationship with John or Emily's family. I owe them nothing. If they ask me for money again, it will be considered extortion, and I will report it to the police.
Public opinion overwhelmingly sided with me, and I breathed a sigh of relief. I thought this time I had finally severed ties with Emily's family completely. Relieved of this mental burden, I focused all my energy on the farm. That year, I doubled the size of the farm, making it the largest taxpayer in the county. The following year, the farm's business covered 52 cities nationwide, with the highest growth rate in the county. In the 3rd year, the farm's profits and performance ranked first in the county, becoming the largest enterprise in the county. On the wealth rankings, I was the undisputed richest person in the county. Focusing on my career, I found life fulfilling and bright. That autumn, the farm organized a special recruitment event, attracting a massive crowd of applicants. I went to the site to speak, receiving rounds of applause. I deeply felt the joy of success. After my speech, as I was about to leave, someone blocked my way in the parking lot. I looked closely and saw it was John, who had disappeared from my life for over 3 years. In 3 years, the once tall and upright John was now hunched and weathered. For the first time, his eyes showed admiration and amazement as he looked at me.
What do you want?
I came to apply for a job. You're doing so well now.
As long as you work seriously, there's no problem with applying.
I was wrong before. I didn't realize how capable you are, how good you are at making money.
I originally didn't want to say more and was about to get in the car, but I stopped and looked at him, smiling.
John, I owe my success today to you. Thank you for the divorce and your luck. You didn't know, did you? When you bought lottery tickets before, I always bought the same ones, so...
John suddenly realized looking at me in disbelief.
So, you also won $5 billion?
I smiled without answering and drove away.